Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lozi, host your friend, your coach. Today, another great guest, another great episode. My friend for a long time, Renee Reisch from Southern California. We connected, what, 2, 3 years ago. And
It's been
what
a
really
while.
connected me with her was her branding. And she had a book. She has a book called Find Your Voice. And because that's what exactly I'm all about. As soon as I saw the book, I said, you know what? Let me get the book. And I'm a nomad. I travel all the time. I travel light, but her book, along with my books, and Alex Hormozzi's are the only ones at the time that I was carrying with me when I came back from Canada back to Asia. So yeah, beautiful book and great story. So a little bit about Renee. She's an inner voice coach. She helps women who've been silenced by fear, self-doubt, find their voice and own their worth, and so that they can lead with confidence, both personally and professionally. So that's all the things that we will unpack today. So first of all, Renee, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, Payman. It really is an honor and a pleasure to be here and share our voices together. When you told me your story and how mine resonated with you, it's like, whoa, the universe conspires for our highest good and to bring us together from different parts of the world, not even in the same country, different countries.
Yeah,
And, it time zones, it just jumps and leaps all over and it brings the right people to you when you're supposed to be with those people. And
absolutely.
certainly a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Same here. Absolutely. So we're going to talk about your business and all the good stuff later on. But first, I want to know, and my audience wants to know, who is Renee first and foremost as a human being and as a woman?
Great question. As a human being, I'm the girl next door. I'm the girl next door. Your friend, your family member, your confidant, uh, advisor. But the advisor is not through being so smart, but it's learning through wisdom and my own life experience that I can share that knowledge. And that's how I believe, connect with other people. It's through things that resonate with one another. Not the awards or the accolades. Those are really nice things to have.
Uh-huh.
And the social proof when you're out and about in social media, those are really great things for the people to know, like, and trust you through the relationships with others. But it's really the relationship, number one, first and foremost, that you have with yourself and that you can then create with others.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. Love it. Fully agree with that. Now, what I like to do first of all is to ask you a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you as a person. Ready?
Ready?
Okay.
Put my seatbelt on.
All right. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy is serving the people that I'm meant to serve. It gives me um, like a jolt of knowing that this is where I'm really meant to be. And what I went through, there was a reason for that. Because you don't know at the time when you're going through hell that what is the reason? You don't know what did you do and why is this happening? But things we know don't happen to you, they happen for you. At the time they're happening, it certainly feels like it's happening to you. But in hindsight, it does happen for us. And
Absolutely.
there's lessons we learn along the way. So that's what I would answer that one.
For sure. What makes you smile?
I'm smiling right now, being with friends, sharing our voices. That really makes me smile. It brings me joy to be with other people that I call friends that
Uh-huh.
we connect with and support with along our own journeys. To know that someone's got your back along your own. We all need support in this world, no matter where you are and who you're with. It's nice to have friends that you can always turn to and to reconnect with them. It's, been a while since you and I did. We met recently again. We not in person, but on Zoom. And then we set this up. And it's just always a pleasure to share our voices together. So that's what makes me happy. It's make me
Awesome.
smile.
Awesome. Now, what makes you come alive?
The same thing, it's serving, being in service to other people. It's like you're in your groove, you're in your flow. And I love that. I love that you're doing what you were here, what you were brought to do. And that always makes me come alive when I'm with other people and sharing our voices together. I've said that earlier in one of your other questions, and it really is true. I'm like in my zone. I'm just there. I'm just so connected because I always lean in, I listen and I learn.
Mm-hmm.
and I speak because it's in, listening that we get to share our information with other people on, as I said, this journey that we're all on. So it all does all these things, the smiling, the happiness, the connecting. It's all about connection, authentic connections, authentically
Awesome.
sharing our voices, not the one that, the one that people expect you to be, but who you really are. And you got to come home to you before you can go out with anybody else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what makes you sad and angry?
Ah, people being mistreated. I don't have to think too long about that one. People being mistreated in any way. You're like, what does that mean? That's a broad answer. It could be emotionally, it could be mentally, it could be physically. Um, I don't like that. I don't like seeing it. I don't like bearing witness to it, that it's, it's happening. But when you see it in public, and people sometimes don't even care who they mistreat in public or how they speak to others. But really what that tells me is it's a mirror image of themselves
Yes,
and the
absolutely.
things that need to heal. Those are the healing points that they need, but they're just shooting them out like daggers onto others because they don't know where to turn and what to do. And they're just angry and miserable and just
Yeah,
shooting them out. Yeah.
I hear you. Now, what scares you?
It scares me. Losing the people I love.
Mm, yes, I can connect with that. Now, what is one thing that you used to value that you don't value anymore?
Oh, as you can tell everybody, these were not pre-planned questions.
Now,
What is one thing I value that I don't?
what is one thing that you used to value that you don't value anymore?
I'm not going to say value. I'm going to say have a different appreciation for
Mm-hmm.
showing up um, with the people who are more me than just looking for um, the notoriety, like being with the real people, rather than chasing the award and chasing the thing. Because I think of that when you ask the question of all the awards I got when I was in corporate America, and it was also always chasing the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And I got them, but I kept chasing. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, it was never enough because the more I did, the more that was expected of me. And it was like you keep going and going, and it's never enough. And I felt like I was never enough. So it's aligning with your truth, being grounded in who you are and what you represent, and then aligning yourself with those people. So it's not about chasing, it's about like gravitating, people gravitating towards one another rather
Love.
than chasing. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what is one thing that you did not value that now you're valuing more and more?
No thought for this one. Myself.
Mm,
That was a quick answer. Myself, my own self-worth, the
mm,
value that I bring. Always, because I was always looking in somebody else's lane to see what they were doing and not appreciating what I've done and where I've come from.
yeah.
Because you don't know anybody's backstory. You see the
Mhm.
REEL life on social media, the reels, the REAL life behind closed doors, behind the smile of the mask. And I don't mean the mask from wearing from COVID that we went through, 5 years ago, and
Yeah.
we still have things going on with that today. It's just realizing and recognizing me not looking for the outside validation for my own inner worth and wanting to be something or someone else. Like the right people will come to you because you are you,
Yeah.
and they want to be, not that they want to be like you, but they're resonating with your energy because that's also them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the first question. Who am I? The girl next door.
Mhm.
That's who people want to know. Like, not like, oh, she's up here and I'm here, or she's here and I'm here. No one's on a different level. We're on the same plane, I will say, but it's where somebody's energy is at that will attract that like energy to you. Wherever that person is at, you're going to attract that. where you are, not what you may want to be, but where you're at.
Yeah, I love that, especially the way you said that people want to see the not the REEL, but the REAL. That's very
Mhm.
powerful. I'm going to write this down. I love that. Awesome. Now, you enjoy traveling, don't you?
I haven't traveled in a while. I did go to, I had a tour across Europe years and years and years ago, but I haven't really traveled in quite some time. Not really, like other than the US and different places in the US to visit family.
Well, we can do an entire show on traveling another time, but for now, I want to take you down a different type of traveling, down memory lane. Go back to when you're growing up. You know, when we're kids, people around us, family, relatives, teachers, friends, neighbors always ask us and ask you, hey, Renee, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer to that as a little girl?
Interesting you asked that question because I didn't know.
Mm,
I remember in my junior year, going to my mom and saying, Mom, how come my brothers know what they want to do and I still don't know?
mm,
I still didn't know. And we had to declare a major, and I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I ended up majoring in psychology. Why? Because I had all these classes that we had to take electives, lower division, upper division in college. And I always chose psychology because, again, your earlier questions, people. I love people. I love learning about people. Love learning from people. I love connecting with people. And it was people. And so psychology let me dive in to the personality of people. There was a class that was psychology personality and abnormal psychology. And I'm going to tell you quite vulnerably and transparently, I sucked in abnormal psych. I really like I couldn't figure it out. I didn't understand it very clearly. I really did not do well. And my saving grace with psychology of personality, I did really well. I'm like, bah. So the way I justified, I said, well, I've got a great personality and I'm not abnormal. So I'm like, I'm good. And I don't know what abnormal is I guess what we deem abnormal. But in that class for that perspective of the class and the perception, it was more of what abnormal meant in the terms of psychology versus normal. I'm going to go back to something else you said. I keep reverting back to your earlier questions. You said about traveling. And although I've done a ton of traveling in recent years, I've traveled far and wide. And I'm going to explain what that means. Personally and professionally, I've done this travel. The personal travel is a deep introspection of myself.
mm,
And there's a lot of weeds to go through and cobwebs to go through and things to unravel and unwrap and gifts that are in that. And the traveling on Zoom is through countries and territories and places around the world. I said so often to my mom, I said, Mom, gosh, if they give frequent flyer miles for Zoom, I'd have millions of them because there's people in, my future because they're in a different time zone. Whether it's in Australia, New Zealand, or Singapore, wherever they are, they're like, Germany, China. I've been in like all different places, like all over the world, Romania. I mean, in years, I've just been traveling through Zoom, and I'm like, "Where are you?" To the person, like, "Oh, I'm in." It's like a day and a half later. They're 13 hours ahead. I said, "Oh, you're in my future." So I've seen my future in a lot of people I've met, and the double entendre in that phrase. So it's very interesting. So my travels have been far and wide and deep,
mm.
as I said, within my own travels of me and learning more about who is Renee, that question you
Yeah.
asked, and what makes me tick and who am I really? And I don't mean REELY, I mean REALY. So who am I really? Who
Yeah.
am I? Because for so many years, when I was in corporate America, I went like to school, high school, college, work. And then it was that corporate, and you could do what they want, and then I went to management, again, do what they want, be what they want, achieve, achieve, achieve. I didn't know how to achieve. I just wanted to exceed what the achievement was. So I was exceeding, excelling, surpassing. And then I was always up against me from
Mm.
the previous year. But then if, we're always with ourselves too. You always want to be a better version of yourself. But I was going down a dark rabbit hole and losing myself in the process. So taking a
Yeah.
deep dive uh, into myself and my own voice
Yeah.
of who I represent and who I am is a lot of deep work and travel there.
Wouldn't it be amazing to get freaking flying miles by on Zoom for the people you talk to? That's an amazing, that's the best suggestion I've heard in a long time. Well done. Give me five. I would be at
Like you
JP
did.
in no time, flying first
Yeah,
class in
the
no time.
crown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome. Now, growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or did you hate school?
Oh, these are great questions. Did I love school or did I hate school? The classes I did well and I love the classes that were more of a challenge I don't love as much. So it was well, but I'm going to tell you, it's interesting. Life imitates, I don't want to say art, but our lives, because the ones that were more of a challenge, if you think about it, your greatest challenges in life are your greatest accomplishments.
Yeah.
You learn the most. The things are easy, like, oh, that was fun. That was easy. Where's the easy button? But the things that were more of a challenge that you overcame or that you ended up excelling in, or you finally understood something, you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. It's like finishing the race, it's like, oh, it's like the deep sigh of like, I got it. And that is huge. So there are classes that I had to really put in a lot of extra effort because it didn't come so easy to me. And there are classes that I was like, oh, I love this class. I couldn't wait to go to like English. I loved it. I loved writing. That was my telltale signs as a kid growing up. I didn't know that. Loved writing. I loved reading. I loved speaking. It was just speaking, but I didn't raise my hand. I noticed when I look back at my life when I was in school, why didn't I raise my hand to participate? Because I was afraid of giving the
Mm.
wrong answer and
Oh,
being
yeah.
ridiculed or laughed at, made fun of in some way, ridicule. And there were so many times, Payman, that when I hesitated to raise my hand, and it was quite often, another kid in the class would raise his or her hand. I would say, I knew it. I knew it. I knew that answer. I literally said those words in my head. I can still hear myself saying that as a young
Oh, yeah.
girl sitting in that little desk saying, when I was like kicking myself inside saying, I knew that. Like I could have said that answer, but I was afraid to. And somebody else got the credit for it, but I knew it, and I didn't speak it because
Mm.
I was afraid. So I'm going to challenge the people who are listening. What are you not saying that you're afraid to say?
Love that. Yeah.
What are you afraid to speak up about? Because the people who are in your life are the ones that are going to come to you organically, like a magnet. And the ones who aren't, that you're afraid of losing, don't be afraid of losing them because they never really gave you the respect that you deserved. They wanted you because you liked them or you did something for them. It was maybe a quid pro quo, but not because you were being you. It's
Mm.
what was in it for them.
Yeah.
So think about you and why you do things for others. Is it for people pleasing? Is it because you generally want to, not because if I do this, they'll do that? Or is it because you're just being genuinely, I just want to help this person out. I just want to, lend a hand.
Mm.
So that's a big difference.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when you were in school, what was your favorite and least favorite subjects?
English, speech. Um, these are favorites. Language, although don't shoot me for this one. French was a little bit difficult.
It is.
I'm coughing through that. Can't tell you
Bless you.
why. That's
Bless you.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you why. Because I had taken 5 years of Spanish
Mm.
in high school, and when I went on to college, I took a semester of French. I'm thinking, my mom's always said I'm really good with languages. I could do that. I'll just take French. It's probably similar. I have a good ear. I could catch up. I'm sure I'll pick it up real fast. Well, it wasn't real fast. It was a struggle. It was like Ella was, I kept saying Aya, it was LA. I mean, it was like the L's were, Y's, and they were L's in French. They were Y's in Spanish, and I couldn't understand. And because 5 years I was like in my head with Spanish, and oh my God, this will be no brainer. This will be easy. And it was anything and everything but that. I went for extra help with the teacher. I stayed after class. I was really, it was not what I signed up for, what I thought I signed up for.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, French, I can tell you, French is my first language, and I can tell you, it's not an easy language to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, imagine
Oui,
that we're
je m'appelle Renee.
enchanté, enchanté.
Enchanté.
Pleased to meet you. Now, imagine that we're in the same class in grade 10, 11. What kind of student and girl were you back then? Were you the shy, quiet, nerdy one? Were you more like the chatterbox, superstar? What were you? How were you back then?
These questions are amazing.
Thank you.
Uh, I've gone on so many podcasts and I've never had this rapid fire like these. These are great. So I would say, I don't want to say that I was a nerd. I never thought of myself as that, but I also didn't think of myself. I was not in the popular group. Like I was just going through
Hmm.
my life, going to school. You know, didn't really have much of a clique. There were some friends I hung out with, if you want to call that. That was, but not so much. It was more, I remember I was in college, I was part of a fraternity, a not sorority fraternity. I kind of hung out with the boys for a while. I figured I'd go there. I wanted to meet guys, and I was like, oh, let me see what this is about. So I joined I was a little assistant in a fraternity that I was part of in college, but in high school in 10th, 11th grade. Um, yeah, I was just kind of, I think, going through, looking forward to graduating, after my senior year there and going on and just learning. I didn't really think of myself in one way or the other.
Yeah. Cool. Now, when you were in high school and college, were you popular with the boys?
Was I popular with the boys? I don't know that look at these are like very vague answers. I didn't see myself as popular or unpopular. I liked going to the different parties and meeting guys. And, that's what, I don't know what other girls do when they're going to college and they're, meet unless they're in a relationship, which I wasn't at the time. And, it was just meeting people. I love, again, your beginning questions. I love meeting people. I was in college. It was my first time really away from that home environment. And I said, oh, this is new. It's a fresh kind of a freedom that I've never seen before. I'm like, what is this about? So I was kind of learning more about myself and things that I wanted and didn't want, things I didn't want to be a part of. I also noticed, going to a little deeper part of your question, that I was going with the flow. This is
Hmm.
interesting. I'm actually observing myself as you're taking me back. I was going with what other girls were like doing, what was expected when you're, in a little sister in a fraternity. I started, I'm going to say again, pretty vulnerably, um, that I don't drink. I was never a drinker. However, when I was in college in my freshman year and going to these parties, what did everybody do? They drank. And so I wanted to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did too. And I didn't like it. And I didn't like who I was becoming.
Hmm.
And looking back at it from the older version, like what would your younger self, your older self tell your younger self? I would say, snap out of it. What are you doing? What are you doing? I would say, I'm learning. I'll catch up in a few years, That's what I would probably tell her. But yeah, I wish, we wish we knew then what we know now. However, what I will also add to that, if we didn't go through what we've gone through or are going through, we wouldn't be the person we are meant to be or have the empathy and compassion for ourselves and others had we not gone through the challenges that we've gone through. So there's that.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, what was your very first job? And do you remember how much you get paid the first time you worked?
Oh, wow. Good thing I don't drink. I wouldn't be even and I'm like, what? Let me see. My first job, yes, I do remember it. It was called the South Coast Shopper slash Penny Saver. Oh, even before that, I'm sorry. I worked at the lake. I worked in a fast food kind of a place at the lake where my parents lived, and it was a summer job, and I that was my first job. And then I worked at a place called the South Coast Shopper Penny Saver, and I was selling ad space. Uh, yeah, and I was writing ads for people and for a magazine. But the first thing was at the lake in the concierge, the concession, not concierge, the concession stand. And I would give people, they would order the food that they wanted, and I would make it for them. Most of it was already made. I didn't have to make too much, but it was, yeah, it was a more of a fast food thing or snack bar.
Did you grow up in California?
No.
Where?
Do you have an idea where after this conversation and know me, where do you think I might have grown up? Just take a gander. You're a nomad, you travel. Where do you
New
think?
York? New Jersey? New York?
Jersey.
Ah,
No,
Jersey.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I was born in New York and lived in New
Oh,
Jersey.
okay.
So you were right on both ends.
Yeah, I can pick up the accent. Yes. That's one thing we never, well, don't lose. But yeah.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, I tried to lose it to fit in when I came out here. I wanted so badly to fit in. I just because my dad was transferred my senior year in high school, which is a difficult time to be transferred.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I just was like a fish out of water. And it was very interesting. People, I would say water, they'd say water. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what? Everything was, they sounded like,
Coffee.
they sounded like they had the
Yeah.
accent, not me. Like coffee. And I'd say,
Yeah.
they said coffee. Like it's COF, not CAF. So it was interesting. It was about fitting in. I really wanted to fit in a lot of areas of my life. I felt I didn't. So when I would meet people, I was like, oh, I want to be more like that person. I would kind of like a chameleon try to mold myself into that. Like if I saw them being liked, then like, oh, if I'm that, then people will like me too. It was not a nice way to grow up. And why I did that, I
Mm.
can't even answer that now, but it was the journey of finding my own voice because as my story, my book, everything I'm doing, my coaching is finding your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about helping women in finding their voice. So as you're asking me these rapid fire questions, it was my own journey, and I'm still on the journey because I believe we always will be until we get called home to our next assignment.
Yeah.
Of finding my true voice.
Yes. We're gonna do that in a moment, but I can relate with that because when we moved to Canada, I was 14 from France. I had the biggest typical French accent. I was talking like this. Hello, my name is Where is the bathroom? I had that kind of accent and I had to literally teach myself to move it because professionally I had to stop speaking like a Frenchie. And even though some people would say it's actually charming, especially the ladies love it. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
But I want to look more. I was looking more, just like you said, to fit in and be more,
yeah,
especially in professional world. As I was getting to university and my first jobs, I had to speak proper English. You know,
right.
and keep in mind that when we moved here, I spoke no English, so I had to learn English from start. Sure, I took English as a second language in school, but when you take a class in school, you don't give a damn. You just want to pass the class. And as soon as the semester is finished, you forget everything. So it was very tough, but hey, yes, I can relate with that. Now,
Yeah. Also, I want to add something, Payment.
sure, go ahead.
It's not so much now. It's not so much about
Uh,
fitting in. It's about standing out.
being you, finding your voice, back full circle.
It is. It's finding your voice. It absolutely is about that. Because if you want to fit in, who's gonna see who you are and what you do? And oh, she's like all the other ones, he's like all the other ones. It's another coach, another podcaster. It's like, why do they want to hear me or work with me or listen to me? It's like,
Yeah,
oh my God. Because she went through this. She actually physically, mentally, and emotionally knows what it feels like not to have a voice. She lost it physically, she lost it metaphorically. She lost it in her business, in her life. She was quarantined. It's like, holy cow, this gal's been through the ringer and came up with a solution to her own problem and now uses it to serve others. Like, you know, that's what I did. how I've come through to and through this part of my own journey and used it in service to be in service. But I have, like I said earlier, to be in service to myself so I can serve others.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of serving others, one of the most powerful, beautiful quotes I've ever seen is from the legendary eternal boxer Muhammad Ali, and he said, "Being of service is the rent we pay in this planet to be in this planet, to be alive here. Being of service is the rent we pay to be here." And when I heard that, I was like, "Whoa, that's so beautiful, so deep."
I love that.
Being of service is the rent you pay to be here in this planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is. So can I add to that and take it a
Go
step
ahead. Yeah.
deeper? I'm
Add
going to
your
go
sauce.
far and
Yeah.
deep. Okay, so what I'm going to say is this. I've often said this, so it's maybe new to your audience. Speaking about the rent that we pay, what rent are you taking up in your headspace of the not good enough? What are you planning and what space are you renting that doesn't have a place there that you wouldn't buy if it was for sale for, penny? You would say, I don't want to live there. Where
Yeah.
are you living? Where are you living and where are you renting up here of not good enough, the words of degradation versus affirmation of what you're believing about yourself. And that's really important. So if you're gonna rent some space, rent some high-end place like that you're going to want to live in, and that's where you're going to live in mentally
Yeah.
because that's the better place to live.
Yeah. Just like you said, who's living rent free in your head, and what
Yeah.
kind of false beliefs, mental blocks are living rent free in your mind, and just kick it out.
Yes. Yeah, you're not welcome here anymore,
Sorry, wrong
party's over.
address. The person you're trying
You
to
got the wrong
is not here
address, get
anymore.
out of here.
Yeah.
No, she's not here anymore, right? She moved and you're not welcome. So
Yeah.
this is not a rent free.
No,
This is
exactly.
going to be an intentional of
Yes.
the space up here.
Yeah. Awesome. I like that. I love that. Now, let's move forward. So, from the moment you left school to now, how would you describe your path? Would you say as soon as you get into one lane, one career, you're set for life, smooth sailing? Or was it more like turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
Neither. It
Uh,
was it was a different. It wasn't turns and twists like a roller coaster, and it wasn't. It was what I thought was going to be a straight path. So I'll answer that in the direct line. After college, I had told you I majored in psychology, and I thought I would go into psychology, but I didn't have a master's. I had a bachelor of arts and sciences, which I probably still could have gotten work there. But I really found that I loved being again with people, and sales was with people. And so I went into sales and I did very well. And then I went into management and sales. I got to coach and train and develop individuals and teams. And I did well with that as well because they ended up doing well. I connected with them at their level. I always met them where they were at. And then the company got where they wanted to be because of the connection I made with my employees and with the customers and all of that. And so I stayed in the corporate arena, I will say. One place was 25 years. I will say
okay.
about 35 years total. So I didn't jump around to different jobs. I had that South Coast dropper job, the penny saver, and then I went into um, sales for copiers and fax machines. I'm just dating myself right along here. And you know, but I'm real, not Real.
Yeah.
And so I did those jobs. So it was long, I was always in a position for a long time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't one to jump around. I like stability and I liked the comfort and knowledge of knowing that I was getting that consistent paycheck. I had that, everything was more in flow. I had the vacation, I had the 401k, all the things, the everything that you get or that I got at the time, what the job entailed. that was a win for both. I felt I liked where I was working at, and I also felt it supported me in many ways. So it was like a win-win in many areas. And then it took a turn. Instead of a lot of twists and turns, it was a big twist and a huge turn. And the big twist was the twist of fate, which was a plot twist that I didn't know was coming. And I don't mean a plot twist in my book, of a plot twist that gave birth to the book, but a plot twist in my life that where I got very sick in that corporate role where I was managing and coaching teams and individuals. For 10 of the 25 years, I had different positions there. I was working my way up the corporate ladder and in management at the time, and running multi-million dollar teams and individuals and a lot of things I had responsibilities for. But I lost sight and responsibility of myself and for myself in the process.
Yeah. Wow.
And I also lost my physical voice in the process.
Mhm.
And that is what was the plot twist that I didn't see coming. And I didn't even know while it was going on, and even after it took place, what was going to be after that. Because that was a pivotal time, dramatic and traumatic in my life, because I fell into a deep, dark depression. I didn't want to live anymore. I was told I could no longer be with the public. I was
Wow.
quarantined. Yeah, it was really, I don't know if you know that piece of it. It was really, really
No, I
dark. I
didn't.
didn't want to
Okay.
wake up. Like I wanted God to just, whatever you believe, I believe in God. I just wanted to be brought home and not open my eyes ever again
Wow.
because the pain was too intense and the doctors had no cure. So I'm like, why am I even here? I don't know if I even said that to myself. I didn't have a voice. I still had an inner voice, but I had no outer. I mean, I couldn't speak. There was sores all over my vocal cords. There were sores on my vocal cords, so I could not communicate any language verbally.
Wow.
Any language, whatever language it was in, I couldn't speak.
Wow.
There was no verbal communication, and I was also not allowed to be with the public. So I wasn't. We talk about being seen, heard, and felt. I was told in the ER that I was so contagious. I'm not
Really?
allowed to be. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
2013. Yeah, it was a long time ago, so I'm good to go. But it was very, very, as you said, dramatic and traumatic because I was the things I love. We all love being seen, heard, felt, understood.
Sure.
You
Helping,
you
serving.
can't
Yeah.
giving, serving, sharing, speaking, loving,
Being with people, being in a community, doing things with others. Yeah. Wow.
gone, gone. I was not allowed. I was literally told the words in from the doctor, and I remember like, it was because I was like what? It was before my voice completely went out, and I didn't know it was going to leave. I didn't, somebody asked me, you didn't ask yet, but I'll put it out there. Someone asked me once on a podcast, do you remember the last words you spoke or to who you spoke? I'm like, it's a great question. I don't know. I don't know what I said. I don't know who it was to. I'm going to say it was probably to my best friend because she was with me in the ER. She brought me there, and I had spent a lot of time with her. So I'm thinking it was probably to her. And at what point it went out after the doctor told me this, I don't know. But I'm sure it was shortly after that because the next 4 months were pure hell, pure hell.
Imagine. Wow.
And so I was like locked away in my own jail cell.
Wow.
And yeah, it was pretty brutal. So my four walls, calling my jail cell, four walls of not eating or drinking anything
Wow.
consistently because I couldn't swallow. So it's like you don't want like let's have some tea and honey or chicken soup to make it feel better. It wasn't a sore throat. There were sores sitting on top of my vocal cords. So vibrationally, we all hold the vibration. They couldn't connect. I'm gonna go a little spiritual here. I wasn't connecting. I had
Wow.
disconnected from me.
Mhm.
I'm a different person now, so I can observantly see that as a coach, as somebody in a different space right now than I was then. But in hindsight, looking back, I disconnected. I didn't speak up. I never was speaking my truth. My vocal cords had sores on them that did not connect with each other to cause a vibrational sound,
Mhm.
and I wasn't able to speak anything.
Wow.
Nothing. It wasn't like when you have laryngitis, you whisper, a little whisper comes out. There was zero. There was zero. And the doctor thought it might be permanent and that I may never speak again.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible. So, time out. I just want to know what caused that
I
and
was
what was
told
happening to you.
I went into a chrysalis stage of a cocoon, becoming a butterfly. That's what was happening. And it was not, it was ugly, ooey, gooey, mucky stage that lasted what I thought was too long. But every chrysalis is a different time
Ah,
that they go to chrysalis stage. Uh, what was happening to me and what was it? Okay, so what was it? It was as a viral pharyngitis, inflammation on my vocal cords and sores. There were so many, they couldn't even tell me how many there were because I asked how many sores there were before my voice had gone out. And they just said to my best friend, you got to take her to the ER. It was urgent care where we started. And then the doctor in urgent care said, after the second visit to urgent care the next day, she said, you got to get her to the ER now. And
how
it
do you
was,
catch that?
yeah. How do you catch that? I don't know exactly what I was told is that my immune system, it
Uh,
was the Christmas holiday season in the world. It was like December, January, November, December, and I was in retail and I was working odd hours, long hours in management. So I wasn't punching a clock 9 to 5. It was, could have been from, I don't know, it could have been from 6 a.m. till God knows when in the PM. It wasn't like different hours. It was all over the board and the clock. And uh, sometimes it would be 1 a.m. when I got out of the building, 1 o'clock in the morning. And when you're in management, there's no punching a clock like, oh, my shift is over. It's like, no, you stay till you finish what you need to finish, no
uh-huh.
matter how long that takes. And I was running multiple teams. So it wasn't just like, just do this. It's like, no, I got to do this. It's a lot of things.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone like this. Wow, that's so what were your first reaction? So is it something that happened out of the blue? Did you have any warning signs and if any, so to speak, signs of it, any appetizers, so to speak, or out of
Far
the
from
blue
an
it just
appetizer.
showed up? Well,
Yeah.
not appetizers, but you know what I mean.
No,
Just
I know.
yeah,
The foresight.
yeah,
No, I didn't know what was coming. It hit me like a
out
Mack
of the
truck.
blue. No pre-existing condition, no warning, nothing.
Mm, no, no. What I did have, and it happened like that, 2 days prior, while I was at work and I was working a closing shift, I remember feeling my throat like there was something in it. And I felt like there was a sore. And the only way to describe it, because who gets a sore in their throat, you say you have a sore throat.
Mhm.
Maybe a little kid might say to their mom or dad, like, Mommy, there's, my throat has a sore in it. It's like, oh, you mean you have a sore throat? Like, just say it. No, mine was a sore in the middle of my throat. And I described it. I wasn't a little kid. It was like, 2013. I was already an adult. But I told the doctor in urgent care, I said, I feel like there's a sore in my throat. So she looked inside. And she said, you're right. There is a sore in your throat. It's in the middle. I said, that's exactly right. I feel like right there. I pointed like I could literally pinpoint outside to where it was inside. I said, it's right there. And she's like, yeah, that's where it is. And she like did this rapid strap test. I said, no, nothing that. And I went home and the next day I woke up and I'm like, holy crap. I felt like it gave birth, which I wrote about in the book. It felt like it gave birth. And I woke up and it was like, oh my God. And that's when my best friend, I called her. I said, what I felt happened. And she took me back to the urgent care. The doctor then said, get her to the ER. So I said, how many sores from that one source? She goes, there were so many. She goes, just get her, go now, go. She said, I've never seen anything like this. I'm like, great. We didn't know what it was. Like, oh, this is this, you have that. The doctors, I had 20 vials of blood drawn from my body in about 3.5 months.
Mm.
20 vials. They were trying, they being the doctors, trying to figure out, peel back the layers of the onion. What does she have? How do we treat it? what do we do? And um, nothing. Hence what I said earlier that I didn't want to live because there was no cure. So I had a
Mm,
fever in my body. There was a fever every single day, 24/7 running. Because it was trying to fight off the infection. It's like, let's get rid of this. And it couldn't. There was no antibiotic because it was a virus, not a bacterial infection. So they couldn't give me, you take the antibiotic and we'll check back in 7 to 10 days when you finish it, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing to give me because it wasn't that. And I couldn't say hello when the phone rang. And I saw it was a doctor's office. I wanted to find out what, and it would be a voice message because I couldn't have a conversation. And I would always listen. I would say, "We need you to go for more blood work." Like, oh my God. Like I'm drained. Like I'm literally mentally, physically, emotionally drained. Like but I went because I wanted to know also like get to the bottom of this. They were searching for answers and nothing.
mm,
There was no answer. So I took nothing. So it's like you're gonna bleed continuously for close to 4 months and good luck. That's what it was like somebody slitting your throat because that's how raw it felt. It was just so the pain was intense and having multiple sores all over to take away your ability to speak and locked away where you can't even be out with the public. Not that I wanted to because I felt so crappy, but I couldn't anyway if I did want to. So it was a matter of as I said, going in to dig out, but I wasn't spiritual at the time, so I didn't even do any deep dive into myself or inner work or journaling or any of those things I do now. And I coach you in the things that I created a program for, a whole blueprint for. Uh, but I didn't know what was even happening. And there was, as I said, I wasn't allowed to be with my family, my best friend. There was no communication, no calls because I couldn't speak. So it was just like watching the clock. And I watching the day, the sunrise and the sunset, the sunrise and the sunset. And it wasn't like I would say, oh, I read a book, I caught up on my soaps, I read magazines. There was like, who wants to do anything? I just wanted to go. And if you remember way back, there was a movie called Cocoon and talk about the crystal states. And they were these beings that went into a body and became a human being, but they were these spirits that came in and um they were able to fly out. I just wanted to unzip the physical and fly away and not return. No return to sender. I just wanted to go away. It was just it was it was really painful. So I didn't want to even be here anymore. And I knew I'd probably miss my family. Not probably, I definitely miss my family and my best friend because I was always close with them. But the pain was that intense. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And there was no hope. There was no glimmer of, you know what, we got something. We're gonna help you out, and we're gonna give you that raft and that to pull you in. We're gonna help save you, and nobody could save me because ultimately, payment, I had to give myself my own raft.
yes.
I had to swim upon my own shore and create a life for
Hmm.
me so I can pour from the overflow and serving others and helping others. And
Wow.
there's really hard lessons in this journey, and
Yeah.
it hasn't been easy at all in any way. I can't tell you that it's been an easy thing because I'd be lying through every ounce of my being, and I'm not going to do that. It's been interesting to say the least, and I did decide to write a book about it. It's funny and it's serious because it's very forthright and forthcoming and vulnerable because I didn't want to go deep into all the pain. Like, who wants to read about this girl's pain? Like, I don't want to read about that. You can put on the news and you'll have see enough pain out there. So what I did with the book is I mentioned it, yes, because I went through it, but it just journeys in life is more of that than sitting in muck of pain. Because I don't want to read anybody's book that's going to be talking about the gloom and the doldrums of, oh my gosh, it was a horrible thing. So I put humor in it as well and because you have to find humor in life. And so there are parts you'll read it and go, I can't believe she shared this with us. It's so funny. She told us that she did that. Like who would tell anybody that? Like, oh, I did. Because it's vulnerable and it's real and it's me. And I did things I'm not proud of. I said things I'm not proud of. And I'm like, but I wanted to be real. And I let people know that I'm that girl next door. I'm as, human as the next person is. And I do make mistakes, but I also own them when I make them. And I also now speak up more and set more boundaries than I ever did before because I wanted people to like me and I wanted to say yes. And a lot of times I was screaming no. But if I said no, well, maybe Payman wouldn't want to talk to me anymore. Maybe Susie wouldn't want to ask me to go to the mall again, back in the day when I went to the mall with the girls. Um, that was a thing to do way back then. But it was things like that. Um, it's probably still a thing to do and going to the mall with friends when the girls are grown up. But there were things that I didn't want to disappoint anybody. But who are you disappointing?
Yeah.
Because ultimately I get irritated and snappy and it's like why you get so snappy like because I didn't get to do what I wanted to do for me because I took care of everybody else. Well, who told you to? No one.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you do it? Because I wanted them to be happy and like me and it's like really? Really that it's more important that they're happy? Are you allowing them to hold
Hmm.
the keys to your happiness? Are you giving them the keys to start your car and to drive it around at their leisure whenever they want? Hey, can I'm just taking the car. I'm not gonna even ask. I'm just taking it. I'm like, I need it. Nope. I gotta do something. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's not fair. So give yourself that back to you. Come home to you, swim to your own shore, stay in
Yeah.
your lane and create your lane for yourself. If there's not one that you see out there for you, make one.
Yeah. Wow. What a story. What a story. Wow. I honestly did not know any of that, but thank you learning about you. Listen, that's a fascinating conversation. Let's wrap it up. Let's do the rest part two next week or the week after. So if someone wants to connect with you, Renee, what's the best way to do so?
You can go to my email is Renee at Renee Reisch, ReneeReisch.com. My website is reneereisch.com. You can go there too. My book is on there as well. It's on Amazon also. Uh, I'm on social media. So all social media, you can find me. And I'm on LinkedIn a lot, Facebook, um, Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram, it's Reisch Renee. It's right. It's last name, first name on Instagram. But I look forward to connecting because I know the people who are going to listen to this podcast are the ones who are meant to hear it. And if it's not for you, then maybe it's for somebody like, and love
Yep.
and trust that you like, I need you to hear this. This goes for your daughter. This goes for you. This goes for your loved one, your family member, your friend, your,
Yeah.
your coworker who is going through something. Because what we go through, Payman, we grow through.
I love that. Repeat that again, please.
What we go through, we get to grow through. What we go through, we grow through.
I love
So
that.
and so one of my quotes, I have several, but your inner voice, not but and your inner voice creates your outer world. So what is your inner voice going to tell you? What again, the rent space are you taking up? Because you've got this system that keeps playing a different day, but you're saying the same thing and you're showing up the same way, but you want things to change.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if you're not changing your language,
Yeah.
then how is what you're telling yourself going to change and the way you're showing up going to change?
Yeah.
And you may lose some people along the way that you thought were your friends, but if they're the ones, it's like when you clean your closet, your drawers for a spring cleaning. You clean your desk, you get rid of the stuff or the junk. What happens? You make room for the new things. You make space.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in your life. The people that are no longer serving you or really supporting you, that you end up being the one that's there to support them all the time,
Yeah.
they're not meant to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Do your spring cleaning, whatever season it is. It doesn't have to be spring. It could be right now. It should be right now, whenever you're listening to this podcast. You've got to be ready though. You've got to meet it
Yeah.
at the energy that you're at too, to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, fascinating conversation. Loved it. Can't wait for part two and part three and four and fifth and so on and so forth.
I'm gonna keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I salute you truly with heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world, your presence, your impact, your smile, your gifts. Always remember that you're Renee. You're a powerful, impactful, and beautiful gift yourself. Stay safe, stay warm, or stay cool, depending on the weather where you are. And talk to you very soon. We'll talk about that next time. That's
All righty.
it deserves its own uh,
It does.
conversation.
It definitely
Absolutely.
does. Yeah, it does.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you
one,
so
my
much,
friend. Take
Raymond.
care. See you soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.